Here we are on Dream Window. Let's take a peek out the window into the distance.
Oh, I don't see anything yet, but I hear steel drums.
Oh.
Must be in the Caribbean, I mean.
Is it raining in the Caribbean? I feel like when it rains in the Caribbean, you just hear the sound of steel drums reverberating through the night.
It's rain popping off those coconuts. Sounds a little bit like, that pitter-patter.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really different sounds down there. Or just different light. Or just different light. Or just different light. Or just different light. No, I have a friend who went down there. He was studying geography or geology. He was in the geography. The
geography of rocks
department.
Is geology, right? The geography of rocks.
And no, so he's down there, and it's like everything's so alive, and he's just in the river. Dangled his hand in the river for a second. No, piranha took his finger. So he lost his baby finger just because it's just everything's alive. Everything's trying to kill you.
What finger? I mean, I feel like you'd rather lose baby finger. The baby finger is the finger you want to lose, right?
It depends until you want to do something that needs a baby finger.
What's the last thing you used with your baby finger? The ear clean?
Yeah, when I had that doctor who mucked up my ear.
It is this thing. I remember once I broke my baby toe. I couldn't even walk down the street. It was hard just to cross the street. It's like I didn't appreciate my baby toe, and I realized if there was like a thing, what part of your body do you want to sacrifice? I don't know why anyone would ask me that. But even a baby toe, I need it. It like helps with my balance. I needed that baby toe.
You don't want to think about things like that. If someone like asked you, you have your choice of how you want to die. How are you going to die?
Yeah.
I was thinking like the best choice you could make is death by lazy river.
Death by lazy river. Being trapped on a lazy river and relaxing yourself to death.
Eventually you just die of exposure.
Yeah.
And exactly. That's like a lazy river. You're like, hey, what can go wrong? But yeah, after like 3 hours in the baking sun on a lazy river where you can't escape. I bring it up because I read this article about a university in the States. And as a campus amenity, they have the state's largest water park that has the biggest lazy river in the state.
Do you like that idea? Or
I think for the purpose of a university and higher education, I do not see the point of
how many people's like projects are late because it's like, sorry, I dropped my laptop in the lazy river. It used to be the dog ate my homework. It's the moat around our school. Drank my. I guess if you drop something into the water, is that like the water drinking you? Is the water eating your laptop if you drop it in? If we put water in our mouths, we're drinking it. What happens when we go into water? Boats get swallowed by the sea, right?
Boats get swallowed.
Yeah. The sea can do some eating.
The sea does eat some things. I like eating things from the sea. I'm still on those dumplings.
Oh my God. We had some shrimp dumplings just before this that were incredible. You treated me to a shrimp dumpling that was divine.
It was a shrimp dumpling date.
It was a shrimp on your balcony, surrounded by the flowers that you planted.
I'm a catch.
And I got to be honest, since I've moved in at my place, my balcony, I have the empty pots with no flowers, and sometimes I feel like I'm not appreciating my balcony. I'll be sitting there, and I'm like, okay, this is like the same as me sitting in my room. But on your balcony, I felt it. I felt like a peace. Maybe it was the flowers.
Maybe I told you about my milkshake.
Yeah, you got all the sweetness.
Got all the sweetness.
But do you ever have a thing where like a sandwich tastes better when someone else makes it? I think I got balcony envy. Like it's just.
We can come over. That's why I took you to the flower shop too.
Yeah.
And, exactly.
You showed me. You could have all this.
You could have all this mulch. Mm-hmm. Be careful. I mean, with the peat moss. There's the peat moss, and that's there's a limited amount of moss in the world, so you have to be careful with it.
Is there like a finite amount of moss?
There's a limited amount of moss, and
you can't get more moss.
And because of the pandemic, we have started eating up moss at a rate that we've never had before.
Why who eats all the moss?
The plants, because there's a lot more people just making
more gardening.
Home gardening, yeah, all that.
But what is the point of stretching out the moss if it's going to end anyway? Let's just accept that we're going to run out of moss.
It's going to,
Like, is the key, or is the idea we stretch the moss out and then in time someone will discover how to create more moss?
I think number one, I think they want us to start using moss alternatives or peat moss alternatives.
Steve Moss.
So I think there's other things that can give you the same effect.
Kate Moss.
Kate Moss.
It's interesting. Plants, it's just no matter how much you water them, they need more water.
They're pretty greedy about the thing.
Me too, though. I feel like no matter how much water I drink, I'm thirsty 2 days later. Like, a whole life of drinking water has gotten me nowhere. No matter how much water I drink, I'm 2 days away from being thirsty.
Partner Zay, she's in France doing very French stuff, eating salads
without lettuce.
Without lettuce.
Yeah.
The enemy.
About time. I feel like the biggest thing holding salads back is lettuce. Salad and lettuce have gotten way too associated.
I think this is the first time we're in full agreement.
You're anti-lettuce?
I'm anti-lettuce.
It's like the base of the salad, right, is lettuce. And I could eat a mountain of lettuce and not feel nourished, I don't think.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on cucumbers? I spend too much time drinking water to be eating water.
I used to have to make the cucumbers as a kid. It was actually our base salad. I had to peel the cucumbers, which I didn't like.
Why peel them? Like, the skin isn't that bad, is it? It seems like the effort to peel a cucumber does not make that much difference in taste to me.
Okay, now you're going against my cultural heritage. I know you think this is going, but yeah, we take the skin off. And like, if you would leave the skin on, my dad would have issues with you. My mother would not talk to you again.
Yeah.
She's like, she met you before.
Right. But didn't know that I ate cucumber with the skin on.
That would be big time problems. She just judge you. And she's judgy.
If you take the skin off of a cucumber, I feel like a cucumber is like 90% water as it is. If you take the skin off, it's like is basically a cup of water with some seeds in it at that. It's like solid water.
The process, though, was we had to take the skin off. Mm-hmm. Then we had to score it with a fork. Then you had to rub salt around it. Oh. And that would get into the grooves you just made with a fork.
Okay.
And then slice it.
Okay, that's pretty interesting.
You had to have that
piece has flavor built into it. Then
it had to have that decorative ring that made from the scoring.
Those are the fork things.
Yeah,
the fork ring. Do you do that now? Ever?
Never again.
Because was it almost like torturous as a kid and like so tedious? You're like, when you're a kid, you're like, I can't wait to live on my own and never have to do these things I don't like. And then it happens and it is the best. Yeah, I don't have to slice decorative fork marks into a cucumber.
For every 4-year-old out there, it gets better.
It gets better. But on the downside, I've noticed that now that I work from home, I don't know why this has become more illuminated to me, but some days it feels like all I do is work, and then my home is my office, which means I take the money to pay for the office for me to work to get the money to pay for the office where I work. Like, even though it's more convenient to work at home than the time to travel to an office somewhere else.
It's capitalism's lazy river torture.
Exactly. It's like being trapped on a lazy river. A lazy river with no edges that you can get to get yourself out. Yeah, that's a lazy river is nice and relaxing if you're not trapped on it, right?
The moment you can't go for a snack.
Yeah.
You can't even drink the water.
That's true. You can't drink the water in a lazy river. There's chlorine in it. Yeah, there's nothing worse than being on water and thirsty. That's like being trapped in a cucumber.
Lazy rivers. Have you been on one?
I remember being on lazy rivers as a kid. I really remember them being like way too busy. I remember like water parks being like not relaxing. You wait in a line for so long. And then, yeah, the lazy river would be like 900 people. Just the smell of like sunscreen, chlorine, always like people yelling across the river. And you're like, yeah, I don't know. It doesn't seem that relaxing. It's not called a relaxing river. It's called a lazy river. It's like...
And that's what we were talking about, earlier this week about just like, doing the little things to get you, ready ahead of time. Like being lazy it's a bit of torture, being lazy, because then you're always, you'd be rushing in the heat wave to bring up the air conditioner because you didn't do it the day before, and you'd be in a full sweat. The
price of laziness is that you have to rush later, you're saying? Or that's like the price is not planning laziness or just bad planning. That's not, I wouldn't call it laziness. What is laziness?
Lying on inner tube, slow moving.
But you don't call meditation laziness.
No, because because you're doing something. I think you're more active when you're meditating than when you're on a lazy river. I think being present and being able to like see the little things.
Right. You could do that.
That's it.
Or are you saying as soon as like an inflatable raft enters the picture that it's no longer...
I remember I was like, remember that story a couple of years ago where at work there was someone who was like a no-show for a meeting. And then afterwards, someone called me immediately after, and they're like,
sorry, I'm trapped in a lazy river. Well, Can't make it to work.
Almost as bad, because the guy who didn't show up was like, he was working on my side of the company. So I made an excuse. I'm like, oh, there must be a meeting. Couldn't make it. I'm sure there's something.
You're covering for this person?
Covering for the guy.
You're doing a preemptive cover.
Doing a cover.
Yeah.
And so right after, the customer calls me, and he's like, yeah, hey, I know you covered for that guy, but we are actually friends on Facebook.
Yeah.
And he's like, you know what he's doing right now? And I'm like, he's like, he's on a pontoon boat watching an air show. What did you say the excuse for him? He was sick or? No, I think it was a company meeting. There's an all hands meeting right now. And he, just covered for him.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, he's on Facebook. It was like, he's on Facebook Live on his pontoon boat. And I love the whole idea. It's like,
what is a pontoon boat? Is that like a gazebo on water?
Yeah, it's like a floating patio.
Yeah, it is. I didn't even know that, but that was like an image in my head of the word. It's a floating deck.
And there's no more of the opposite you could be doing than working, than being on a pontoon boat watching an air show. Like,
well, I want to live in a world where you're like, if someone's like not at work, be like, I'm glad they're on a balcony on a waterfront watching an air show. That's better than working. Like,
putting it on Facebook Live.
Yeah.
Look at those jets. Look at those Blue Angels.
Yeah, the worst is when you try to help someone else and then you come out looking almost worse in a way.
Yeah, we should go hiking. There's this, you will see them. It's what is that river? It's a place we go. We like to go hiking a couple times a year, really close to the city. And yeah, it has this kind of like party river.
Here in Montreal?
It's just it's in the South Shore. Yeah, there's all types of pontoon party boats going up and down there, and it always looks like an orgy about to break out. It's like
on the pontoon.
You get the jet skis going by, and they're like, they're the gangsters of of a lazy river. It's not it's a small river. It's not a lazy river. You can get off this one. It's not it's not some type of torture device. But the pontoon boat energy and the people on the pontoon boat, as far as a party scale, they're at an 11. Everyone else is operating a boat and usually trying to keep it around a 3.
It's like the nightclub of the sea.
It's like search it for coke.
Searching for coke?
Search, if you're a cop on the water, you're searching that pontoon boat for coke.
Right. The pontoon is always suspicious.
The jet ski guys are not in coke. Those guys are full of adrenaline junkies. But those pontoon,
seems like they'd be doing blow.
They could be.
Yeah.
But it's much harder to keep your blow dry on a jet ski.
Is that why a blow dryer is called a blow dryer? I never understood.
Keep your blow dry.
What even other ways of drying are there? There's no suck dry. There's blow dry. I guess there's towel dry. air dry. But it isn't
Pat dry?
pat dry. Air dry is a blow dry, right?
Air dry is a blow dry.
It's just like a lower level of blow dry.
Exactly.
The sky is a blow dryer at a low speed, depending on the day.
I heard someone was using a leaf blower, and I can't believe that.
To blow dry their hair?
No.
Out in the street.
But just that, it's the blow dry sound. Like whenever, sometimes like, you know, again, my partner will like shower in the middle of the day, and I'm in a meeting, and all of a sudden she's like,
"Are you in the meeting in the shower?"
In the meeting, the shower.
This is my office.
Starts blow drying her hair, and it's like it's just all kinds of sounds going on. But no, it just reminds. Someone was this morning. I'm like, there was a whole lot of racket outside, and I look out, and there's someone using a leaf blower, which is like, I hate. Like, I would, if I was a politician, I think, my single issue, leaf blowers will be banned.
Yeah.
Because
let the leaves be?
Let the leaves be. And if, you know, but like you can sweep.
Leave the leaves alone?
You can sweep. There's tons of other things you can do, but that leaf blower is just obnoxious, and it annoys, especially in a dense urban neighborhood, it annoys a ton of people.
What do you think of a motorcycle going by?
It's just as annoying, but anything it's the same.
It's like a motorcycle in place.
Engine. But exactly, but that motorcycle's at least moving,
right?
You know what I mean? That leaf blower can sit there.
But what's better, to mildly annoy a ton of people, or to annoy only the people around you? Like the leaf blower is really annoying to surrounding people, but the motorcycle is annoying to everyone for short bursts.
Very short bursts. So that's why I think
you prefer the short bursts.
It's tolerable. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're in a meeting.
Yeah.
And would you rather have some guy blowing the fucking sidewalk? And I didn't even know he was blowing dirt. Does
he even have a nice garden? Are you like, that leaf blower's annoying, but my God, he has a beautiful setup.
It was someone sent to take care of this building.
Oh,
so he was hired.
The building hired this person for your So your rent money is going to this leaf blowing,
and that's why I had to stop this at the source.
Oh, you went down and you complained?
No, I'm just not gonna. I'm gonna.
Were you yelling? And he's I can't hear you. The leaf blower.
I'm running for government, and that's like it. That's it. I'm going to get in the next Canadian election, and no leaf blowers, and no more such thing as my prime issue though. Really is no more no parking. There's just parking. No more I'm getting rid of that no parking sign racket, because someone's making tons of coin, making all. And
it's like a thing that isn't real. You're saying it's the absence of something.
I get elected.
Signs for things that don't exist.
Exactly. Someone's making signs. There's
either parking signs, and then if there's not a parking sign, it's no parking. You're saying
I'm gonna go on TV as soon as I'm elected. I don't care, federal, but I just need mayor. Yeah. I just need minutes, and I'll say, okay.
But wait, why no parking? Because sometimes you got to put, like, if you have a fence and you don't want someone to lock their bike to it, I'm going to assume I can lock my bike to it.
So watch this. So I go on TV and I say 5 words, and it's law right after.
Yeah.
You can't fucking park anywhere unless there's a parking sign, a green. Hey, you can park here.
Something tells me there'll be a lot of gray areas. People going to court with parking tickets and being like, I didn't see the sign. I just assumed I missed it, but it was parking.
There's going to be a year-long communication campaign of me saying those 5 words.
Yeah.
And it's like, by the way, this is mayor of the city. You can't park anywhere. You can't park anywhere.
Your biggest issue is you don't even drive.
No, watch this. See, the problem is the assumption that you can park anywhere unless there's a no parking sign. I'm like, flip that assumption. You can't fucking park anywhere unless there's a parking sign.
You know what I don't find fair is that you can't park in a park. It's called a park.
It is one of those English tragedies.
It is a tragedy.
It is a tragedy.
I feel like the world would be better if all the parks were turned into parking lots.
I'm just not feeling your love for my number one issue.
The no parking thing.
No, but you just can't park anywhere unless and think how positive. It's just green signs now instead of that cross out red. You're just gonna see.
You're saying more positivity.
More positivity.
Oh, okay.
And we're gonna cut down. I'm telling you, it's gonna cut down.
What other no signs are there? You got like what else can't you do? What are the signs telling you can't do? You got no parking.
There's no stopping.
No stopping.
There's no even stop.
What is that? No stopping.
It means like it's a loading zone.
Like on the highway?
No, it's like a loading zone. So it's like you No stopping. This is a great sign. It's my favorite.
I feel like that's like the sign when you enter life. It's like no stopping.
But have you ever seen the danger début sign?
No. It sounds fancy, though. It sounds like a fancy sign.
It's an alley sign. Oh. I think I've seen this one close to St. Hubert. I've always seen one, and it's my favorite street sign. So it's at the end of an alley. And it says danger début, danger starts.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a car. It's literally like one car, and they both are crumpled because they didn't see each other.
Yeah.
And they're smashed up, and it's just like, that's such a weird, and it's a crumpling.
It's very specific, like clearly that happened, and they're like, that must have happened so many times that they're like, we need a sign with this on it. But that's where most signs come from, right? Like usually where there's like a cliff ahead sign is because no one is ever preemptive about it, right? Cliff ahead.
Cliff ahead.
I feel like in life sometimes you're born on the edge of a cliff and then you fall.
And you just keep falling.
And that's it. Life is just falling from a cliff. But it's nice. It's relaxing. It's like a lazy river without any water.
We are Hart and George.
And this is Dream Window.
Follow us.
Like us.
Comment.
Love us.
And where can they find us, Hart?
Find us on Apple Podcasts,
YouTube,
Spotify, and all the other major platforms.
This is Dream Window.
Good night.